What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's me, Fitty Trent, and I'm here to review the last game that just happened, the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Boston Bruins. And if you guys did not know what was at stake in this game, well, there was a lot. There was a lot for both teams. I mean, Boston, if they won this game, 2 points in regulation, they will have clinched a playoff spot. Tampa Bay, if they get the 2 points, they not only get that much closer to the playoffs, they have a game in hand against the Bruins, and that would be a very interesting scenario. So, starting off this game, big things are on the line. And right as soon as the puck drops, we see both teams trying to take advantage of it. The play was kind of going back and forth. No one was looking really good, but regardless, it was going just back and forth, and each team, it was a crucial 2 points, as I said. Then next thing you know, the Boston Bruins, they start getting a little bit of momentum. They start looking a little bit better. And next thing you know, they're pouring on the pressure. They're pouring on more and more. And, Tampa Bay starts getting a few better opportunities, but, they're still sloppy to take the advantage. And in the first period alone, in my opinion, Vasilevsky really did not look like the classic Vasilevsky that we all know and love. I mean, we know him to be a really good, sound goaltender, really solid. For me, it looked like he was struggling a little bit out there. I don't know what it was, but it was just like he wasn't controlling the rebounds very well. And it looked like a lot of pucks were trying to sneak through him. And then we're nearing the end of the first period. All is good, all is going well. And then, of course, Brad Marchand, my favorite player. And I'm saying that sarcastically because, as you can tell, I'm a Canuck fan, so I am a little bit biased. But there he goes, and he spears this young kid right in the crotch. Yes, right in the knackers. And honestly, as a guy, I cringed a little bit at that moment. I just watched him rolling around on the ice, and let's just hope that he's a young kid, and hopefully he'll be able to have some young kids back in the NHL. But honestly, Brad Marchand, what kind of a dirty play is that? I mean, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, but Brad Marchand, I cannot believe that he would do that, especially after something like that happened to him. I mean, as a Canuck fan, I remember Brandon Prust doing it to him, and he was complaining and whining it to the league about how he should be suspended forever because of that thing that he did. And he is just as guilty. He is just as guilty for doing it. It was totally uncalled for. Yes, you know what? You got a little cross-check to the Brad Marchand. This is a hockey game. Grow up. Become a man, all right? Don't knock a guy in the nuts just because you hated the play that he did. Because you know what? The rest were letting everyone play at this point. They were really letting basically everything go. No power plays were done at that point. Luckily, they ended up having to call that, because if they didn't, oh my goodness, there would have been such a huge backlash from that. But they did. They originally just called it a 5-minute penalty, but then that evolved into a game misconduct, so he was suspended for the rest of the game, and maybe even suspended for longer. The NHL will probably be having a hearing about it later. But nevertheless, Tampa Bay gets a 5-minute long power play to start the second period. Now, I was just sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be really good. The power play has been really clicking as of late. You got Kucherov, probably one of the best power play specialists in the NHL. Definitely the best one on the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. 5 minutes, they're definitely going to get a goal, maybe even two. What do? Nothing. They get absolutely no goals. They waste the entire 5-minute power play. Then next thing you know, Boston goes the opposite direction. And who scores but Drew Stafford, assisted by David Krejci and Adam McQuaid. And yeah, it was a good goal. I personally could not believe that it was only Stafford's seventh goal of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Seventh goal, When they traded for him from Winnipeg, I knew that he was struggling, but not that much struggling. But nevertheless, it was a good, nice little goal. Boston really started picking up the momentum at that point. Then it started getting really physical after the whistle. People were pushing, people were shoving. And then, the clouds started, uncovering, for the Tampa Bay Lightning, rather. I mean, it looked like they were going to have a little bit of life. It looked like they were actually here to now play the game, because they are the number one team to play when they're down after one goal. But then Boston gets another goal by David Pastrnak, his 33rd of the season, assisted by Nash and Miller. And then both teams started getting really sloppy at the end of the second period. I mean, I think in like the last minute and a half, there were something like 4 or 5 icing calls. So, I mean, it got really sloppy at that point. But honestly, you could see that Boston had really taken over the game because they had 19 shots only in the second period. Only in the second period with 19 shots. So you could tell they were here to play. And then next thing you know, the third period starts. Both teams are pressing the offensive zone. Then Boston gets a power play. Fair enough. I mean, I didn't really like the call, but it's all right. They get a power play, and Big Zdeno Chara gets a big old one-time slap shot goal, his 10th of the season, assisted by Krug and Backus. And this is when you see that Tampa Bay really was starting to let it go. They really were not playing as good as they used to in like the previous little bit of the game. They really started not playing as a team, as collectively. Every single offensive zone that they got, it was really not good. And Boston continues up the pressure. Tampa Bay, as I said, really did not get any chances. I mean, Kucherov had one that went off the crossbar, but besides that, nothing really became of anything that happened. And then finally, Boston gets an empty net goal by David Pastrnak, his second of the game, 34th of the season, assisted by David Krejci. And bingo, bango, bongo, the Boston Bruins, they're off to the Stanley Cup. Playoffs, good for them, but Tampa Bay Lightning, they're not out of the playoffs yet, but it's going to be very difficult for them to make the playoffs from now on. I mean, they got a relatively okay schedule, but it's the kind of thing where they needed to win 3 of their last 4 games for the regular season. And with this loss, now they have to win 3 out of these next 3. And they really need to hope like the Maple Leafs or the Senators really drop the ball and not get any more wins. That's what they're aiming for right now, because that's all that they can get. And looking at this game, as a whole, looking at who played good, looking at who played bad, Boston Bruins side point, of course, I could go with the obvious ones, like the Tuukka Rask, who got the shutout. Congratulations to him as well. I didn't mention that. He got the shutout, of course, because Tampa Bay could not score. I could also say the easy ones like David Krejci and David Pastrnak, but I'm going to go with Patrice Bergeron because he's always been my number 1 center choice for the Boston Bruins, and he really proved it tonight, getting 100% in the faceoff dot. I'm not even joking you, 100%, very nicely done. I don't remember when was the last time that a first-line center got 100% on the faceoff draw, but if anyone's going to do it, it is going to be Bergeron. Very defensive and very offensively minded. He had 6 shots on the net, didn't get any points, and he did have a takeaway. So, that's just classic Patrice Bergeron hockey for you. If I'm looking at the players that really did not impress me all that much, I mean, there was no one really that bad in this game. Bolesky, he was okay. Only 1 shot on goal, 1 hit, and it's kind of the thing where he's a 4th liner now, so I kind of get that he's not going to be playing as good as the rest of the team, but he kind of let me down. I thought that maybe he would have been playing a little bit better, especially since a couple years ago he played so good with the Boston Bruins, but now it seems like he's back down to earth. Tampa Bay, oh my gosh, don't get me started about Tampa Bay. I'm sorry, all you Tampa Bay fans, but this game was really embarrassing for all of you as a whole. I mean, there was not a single player on your team that played really good. There were tons of players that played really bad. If I had to pick a player that played pretty good, I mean, probably Witkowski. Witkowski was probably my number 1 star for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, he did have the only penalty, but 3 shots on goal, more importantly, 8 hits. I really liked it when he was trying to get underneath everyone else's skin. He was really playing the physical game, which is awesome, which is what they needed. He was the only player that was really playing that physical. And, he had 2 blocks, which is very nice, but he did have a giveaway. So, you look at that and, those are the things that will happen. Going back to Boston of players that did not do very well, I should actually say that, Bolesky, I'll give you a bit of a break. Brad Marchand, you were the worst player in this game for the Boston Bruins. I completely forgot that you were thrown out of the game and you almost killed a guy by hitting him square in the you-know-wheres. So he should definitely be suspended to that. And the number 1 letdown for the Tampa Bay Lightning for me, honestly, Nikita Kucherov. I mean, whenever I don't watch, Kucherov actually plays very nice. He usually gets quite a few shots, plays good in the offensive zone. This game, I mean, he didn't get a single shot. I mean, well, he did get 1 shot, but then he got another one off the crossbar. And besides that, what else did he do? 2 giveaways. He gave away the puck twice. which I'm sorry, but that's not acceptable. That is extremely not acceptable if you're asking me. It was a very disappointing thing for him. And yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say. Looking at the comments here, it says, thanks for doing this video, man. Shout out to Packard. No problem, man. Thank you for, in suggesting this video. It says, don't know what the heck Marchand was thinking. Honestly, I don't know what the heck Marchand was thinking either. A very dirty play. He should be suspended, but that's probably just because I am a Canucks fan, so technically I'm biased, but you can't do that. You can't do that. What does this mean going forward? Well, for the Boston Bruins, I'm interested to see who they are going to end up facing in the first round of the playoffs. I can definitely see the Bruins doing well enough to maybe making a second round. Probably not a third round, probably not like an Eastern Conference final, but maybe if they faced, a certain team like maybe the Senators, they might be able to squeak into the second round. And for Tampa Bay, as I said, I mean, the Lightning, they need to win every single one of their games left over, and they need to hope that either the Senators or the Maple Leafs lose every single one of their games from this point onwards. So it's not looking good for the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's looking maybe okay for the Boston Bruins, but only time will tell. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the game. I hope you guys enjoy all our hockey videos because we're trying to put out more and more each and every single week. And yeah, the Puck It Up podcast, a few people were asking about that. It should be back hopefully sometime this weekend, as going back to our usual schedule. It will be probably going on for the playoffs. And speaking of the playoffs, in about a week, we will be doing our playoff predictions. That will be Mitch, that will be me, that might be AC, that might be Kev, and who knows? We may even get Dylan, but I highly doubt it. But if you want to see all of us, which you should, see all of our content that we produce daily, be sure to subscribe to the Bottom Line View because it helps us out a lot. And be sure to comment to tell us what kind of things that you want to see on the channel. What kind of stuff do you not want to see on the channel? We can't take away and add everything that you want, but like this game, Packard suggested it to me, so I wanted to do it. I thought it was a good choice. We always read the comments. We always love your suggestions. So please be sure, comment below, subscribe, and like the video because that also helps us out. All right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out, everybody. See you next NHL review.